CosmicRadio.TV. Hello, welcome to the fine edition of my so-called 8-Bit Life. I'm your host, Roberto Villegas. Joining me today in studio, on the couch, if you will, Joseph Compton, a.k.a. Kimono Joe, a.k.a. a whole lot of other things.
Yep.
I still love that was like your original spill handle and still kind of, follows you lightly to this day in that I remember it and maybe like 5 other people do. All because you just would walk in a kimono.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only reason why anyone ever, like you didn't call yourself Kimono Joe, did you? Or did this, like, Corey give it to you?
Well, no, it was kind of like a thing. Like, whenever I came up with the name, I couldn't think of anything original, so I was just like, just looking around my room, finding stuff. It's like, how about that? Although I am kind of glad I stopped wearing that, especially in this day and age of, like, when people want to call out people for cultural appropriation. So I'm probably safe just not ever do that again.
You know what? That might be a good thing, not just come out like, well, because like that's. I'm only laughing, just not at you. I'm laughing at the idea of just like some guy. Because the thing is, like, if you think of like how many anime, like how many anime fans, and I mean this in an honest to God, real way. Mm-hmm. You know, like we're at a point now where anime fans, and this is not a slight because, you know, if you haven't noticed, I am one of you. I've been trying to get back into anime, but, you know, we can talk about that later. But like we've come to the point now where, and this is almost, I think, cooler that this has gone beyond anime. Yeah. That the kawaii culture, you know, the cute thing, has gone well beyond it being, like, it used to be the sort of thing that anime fans would throw around, not quite knowing what it meant or how to really pronounce it or anything like that. You know, kind of like people would say for the longest time, baka. You know, just throwing around, not, you know, understand, like, that means idiot, because I heard it. You know, I heard Akane say it to Ranma a few times. So surely that's what it means. But like, I like that that's gone beyond, where it's no longer this like anime specific thing. There's people who are like in that fashion style purely because they like the fashion style. I have no connection to anime at all. Hey, Andrew Wilson joins us in Facebook chat, which is awesome. Andrew
Andrew.
And for those who are watching, we are live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube as well. So if you're watching either one of those channels, they'll all hit me in the chat room there. So figure, you know, chat accordingly where you are in the world. We all watching everything here. Diana says Moe ruined anime. It's interesting. This is going to be the anime heavy episode, because I already see people who are in this one. Well, because like it's funny, you know, and I think back, and we've talked about this before, you know, past shows I've had you on, so it's not an unknown thing, but that was like our original kind of connection point. Yes, it was Spill. Yes, we talked about that. But like beyond the world of Spill, after, you know, when it came to the point of like, well, let's hang out. And I don't even, you know how that all began. I couldn't even tell you, just because it's so, not because it's so long ago. It's just like, I don't know where all the charts go. Like that became the, so you're an anime type thing, because I bought I know why, because I bought a Yojimbo a Yojimbo drawing off you, and that was the, like, you're buying this, like, oh yeah, Yojimbo's awesome. I love Yojimbo. I love the idea of Yojimbo, the idea of this like interdimensional bunny that was like completely a samurai. I love the concept of that. Like, why did that become? Oh, that's right, turtles were the thing that hooked onto this in the States, because they're a radical. But yeah, like you talk about cultural appropriation and that, like, I don't think any anime fan, I think you'd get slammed on that by everybody else who's not an anime fan.
Well, I think it's more of like, it kind of depends on where you're coming from with it. Because, I mean, there's been like a lot of talks, especially in like cosplay communities too, of like, some, you know, when some people want to get offended because one person is cosplaying as another character, but they are not, quote, the correct ethnicity, which it's mostly aimed at people who are black, and they're cosplaying as someone who's not black.
Which
but then,
I think that's
a really dumb argument, because it's like, you're a white dude pretending to be a Japanese high school student. You don't have room to talk.
Well, to say that's in the one thing that I've kind of embraced as of late and been happy for, is the idea that cosplay as whatever the fuck you want, and whatever seems right for you. If you want to, because like there's some that I appreciate if done well.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate the like there was I was at the RT Austin meetup there last week, and one of the guys was jokingly saying that they wanted to cosplay as Ruby.
Yeah.
Not as Ruby, but like they wanted the Ruby dress because there's a moment in one of 10 Little Roosters where Miles, one of the creators of Ruby, is running around in literally a Ruby dress, and you can see like his chest hair and stuff like that. He's like, I want to cosplay as Miles in the Ruby dress. I'm like, that would be awesome. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, because it's if done right, like you can have some, like there are some interesting concepts of the gender bending. I mean, because like it's weird that anime culture, and again, this is not to say this is the universal, but there is, these are just. Again, this is not criticism of anything. These are more observations, and they're my observations. And I'd love to, and definitely in the chat room, chime if you agree or disagree, or let me know your observations as well, because this is never just simply Joe and I. This is the group. But it's funny that we almost are a little more accepting of the female gender bent. Do you notice that? Like
oh yeah. Like, the whole it's someone cosplaying as Iron Man, but it's a lady.
Yeah, and it's weird that that's the case, because like there are some like really cool, I think, gender bent female characters in that they come out like I've always liked like there's I think there's specifically it's in the fighting game, the Capcom side of things. I don't know if it's Capcom or SNK. Yeah. But the character of, I think it's King.
Oh yeah, the
bartender girl.
Oh no.
What's her name?
No. I was thinking of King from Tekken.
Right.
Yeah.
Wonder if Manfiel's still around. Hopefully. But I forget. I think it's King or it's someone will correct me. Hopefully. But like she looks like a bartender.
Yeah.
In terms of like she's got her suit on, pantsuit, whatever. So one of my favorite characters, also a really cool fighter character in that game. But I've always liked that kind of like look, anyways, on in terms of doing female. Like we seem to be accepting of that. Yeah. But like I always find it now weird because again, if you want to gender bend cosplay, by all means, you go on right ahead. Oh yeah. At the same time, make sure that you do it correctly. Like maybe if you're gonna wear like a tight, skin type suit, even even if you're gender playing otherwise, I think it's learn the concept of a dancer's belt. Yeah,
or if not that, at least get a cup.
Yeah, a cup. Something. Yeah, make smooth like a Ken doll. Not because don't be proud of your bits, so to speak, but no one wants to see that. A man or otherwise, no one wants to see your bitch just hanging around there.
And the matter when it comes
no one wants to know your gender. Yeah, is so prominently defined.
Or as my friends discussed it when they had to encounter a dude dressed up as Rock Lee from Naruto, and they referred to him as Rock Lee to the left because his thing was leaning towards the left.
Well, because like you just catch and again, like as guys, like you just catch the wrong breeze. Yeah. And something happens. Not even like, oh, you're right. Like it's just the wind blows a certain way. It's like, ooh, and like no one, you don't want kids to see that. You don't want anyone, you don't want like this. Oh my God, cover your shame. Just avoid all that and get a dancer's belt, cup or something.
Well, and that goes into as a whole with a lot of cosplay things of like just be tactful about whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter like if you're cosplaying or cross-playing a different gender, different ethnicity, just be tactful about it. And it's not even just for sexual things. It's just stuff like years ago there was a news article about a bunch of kids who got kicked out of this one anime convention. I think it was in Washington or it was in New York. I can't remember which one, but it was because some of them decided to dress up as Germany from the anime series Hitalia and then go out in front of the Holocaust Museum. Oh, and that's where it's like, guys, that's not tactful that's not at even, all.
No, that's almost as insensitive. And this is like there's been two of those weird things, like you mentioned that one. Yeah. But I remember it was a couple of E3 back where I think I almost want to say, fuck. What is the game? The North Korean invasion U.S. game? Not Red Dawn.
Oh,
basically the Red Dawn, the video game.
I think it was Homefront.
Yeah, Homefront 2. I think it was. They're advertising Homefront 2, and they literally had like people in fatigues, coming in from like representing like the North Korean army or something like that. I was like, guys, I get you want to you want to viral market your game.
Yeah.
I understand that that's a big concept. Maybe not do that next time. Maybe pull it back. Because there are people who don't understand that video games are a thing, or don't give a shit that video games are a thing, and that's totally cool. Because we should all we should all respect everybody about this sort of thing. And when that happened, I was like, don't do that. But don't do that either. Don't be a dick about it, because and there's cosplaying is ultimately, I always take it as this should be a fun activity for all. That this should be something that we either all laugh at, we all enjoy, we all get the gag. I remember a couple years back, I saw one of the best cosplays at RTX, and it might have been the year actually that Spill was there.
Yeah.
It was somebody. She was cosplaying. She had a backpack.
Mm-hmm.
She had a Minecraft sword. I think she had like some other thing, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like behind her was the Achievement Hunter logo, and I was like, "You're an achievement hunter, like an actual hunter of achievements." And she's like, "Yes." I go, "Can I take your picture?" It's like, "Totally," because like I got the joke. I got that she was cosplaying as an achievement hunter, like someone that's like, "I'm on the hunt for achievements." I'm like, "That is awesome. That was really cool."
Yeah.
And that was fun. That was cool. That was awesome. But like I always feel bad when people like. Because we're in such this weird culture where you just shame people for like, you're not supposed to be that character, or that character's not this, or that, not realizing they're animated things that no one can achieve.
It's one part of like people shaming it if they like are actively offended by it. Like if, say, there is someone who is Asian and they're offended to see a white person dress up as an anime character acting like they're Asian and whatnot. Like that I can understand being offended by. But also, simultaneously, there are the gatekeepers, which are the nerds out there who are like, "Oh, no, you're not supposed to do that because blank," but they'll give a pass. Like, again, the whole, you're black, you can't be...
maybe don't, definitely don't pull like a Mickey Rooney from way, way back. We're doing the whole, like, maybe don't pull that kind of stuff. Don't pull a Sean Connery type, from James Bond type moments.
Yeah, like, that was a thing.
That might be a little bit sensitive, culture otherwise.
Because that was, like, one thing a friend of mine on Facebook was wondering, like, she questioned this herself. She wanted to cosplay as Diva from Overwatch, but she's white, and she was afraid that it might be viewed as being offensive. But I was like,
it's
well,
Diva.
You can do it. I mean, Diva is Korean, but, so long as you're not being, like a stereotype offensive about it.
Whereas I think Diva, in hindsight, like, if Diva should be the stereotype for anything, it's not Korean in terms of that, like that it should be like, and I don't mean like they're like that. Yes, she's Korean and everything else. I mean, in terms of her speech pattern and her dialogue choices, she's a stereotypical gamer, quote unquote. That's her thing. Like she's like if she is anything, it is in terms of like stereotypical. And I put that in quotation marks. It is the gamer. Like she is of the gaming culture. That she's aware of certain things. That's what makes her a fun character to kind of be a part of. Because like I've not played Overwatch, but I know a lot of the things. I started kind of getting back in Heroes, and so I was like, let me hear some of Diva's lines. I go, oh, that's why everyone likes Diva. She's the gamer.
Yeah.
It clicked immediately. Like, oh, that's why everyone latches onto her. Not she has a mech and she's a fucking gamer. Cool, rock on. And now I get the gag, and that's why people, and again, it's I would say it's totally cool for her to cosplay as that. Only because when we talk about these characters, and we start getting this, especially when when it came to Ghost in the Shell and all that stuff, that's an entirely different argument, entirely different thing, because
whole other can of worms.
That's a whole other can of worms. Or when it came to Doctor Strange and that whole other can of worms, everything else went that one. These are still fantastical characters. Yeah. Not that they're fantasy. When I say fantastical, meaning they're fiction. They're these. There's fictional elements. Like, again, right now in our current world, nobody can hop into a mech and pilot it around. In our current world, no one can rewind time back a few seconds and then do something else. In our current time frame, there is no Persona world that you jump into quite yet. Or at least if it does exist, we don't know about it. So you should be able to totally cosplay as these things.
Now, granted, it again goes back to a lot of it is like be tactful about it, and there is like some areas where it's kind of a blurred line. Like I remember that thing years ago when there was some actress or someone, or maybe it was just some random person at a party, but a group of them were going as characters from Orange is the New Black, and this was a white person who put on a bunch of makeup to look black.
Oh yeah, no, don't do
Yeah.
that. Like that's rule number one
Yeah.
about cosplaying and not being offensive. One, do not make yourself look like the ethnicity
Yeah.
of said character. It is totally fine if I it's cool. Like I'm Mexican, for example. Like it's
Yeah.
totally cool to if I wanted to cosplay as the main guy for the Minutemen in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
It would be completely offensive to start putting,
Oh, yeah. For sure.
brown face makeup on my face to do that. It'd be totally offensive.
Oh,
not even fucking around. Totally offensive.
Oh, yeah.
But you could cosplay as a Fallout character. You could do these sort of things. Like, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Never do that. That's
For sure.
a rule. If you're thinking about doing that, don't.
Yeah, again, be tactful. Don't be a dick about it.
I wanna know.
Or even like that person probably had it with the purest intention, but even so, it was like,
No,
don't-
yeah,
just stop and think.
Yeah, stop and think. Like take a mental, like, the best way I can say when it comes to you thinking of something is to say, all right, what if somebody that wasn't into anime saw this?
Yeah.
What would they think? And ask yourself that question, and if you have the answer of like, well, they'd be offended, then there you go. That's your your response. You know.
Although I will say it is the funniest thing when you see people like posting photos on Twitter of someone who doesn't know anything about like cosplay or gaming community or anime stuff, and they see something and they are just confused as fuck.
As
at
they
what
should
they're
be.
seeing.
They should totally be confused. I mean, imagine if you saw No Face that had no idea what No Face was.
Yeah.
I'd be scared shitless too.
Well, no, like even like when it's out of the context, because like if you're at a place and there's a bunch of people there, you can infer like, okay, this is obviously something going on here.
Yeah.
But this was like a photo of someone cosplaying as Sombra, and they must have like walked a decent amount of space away from the convention to some restaurant, just eating in full cosplay. And
That's my
someone
favorite.
at another table taking a photo of them, like, what the fuck am I looking at?
That is
As
my-
this person in bright neon, like,
that is my
things.
favorite concept. My favorite concept of cosplaying, and my favorite thing of cosplaying, is the getting a meal.
Yeah,
Because it's like you walk into, like, again, it's like you're walking into the, I forgot what the bar was in the poker game that Telltale made. Fuck, what was it called? It'll come to me. It's like walking into like the fantasy bar.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh shit, what did I come into? And it's everything here. Regular people usually talk for them. It's the Renaissance. Yeah, that's for sure.
True.
But I love, I love that idea of the cosplay of like when it's like, yeah, I have this costume, awesome, cool, right? Rock and roll, diva,
Yeah.
whatever. Diva, Tracer, Ranma, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I love the idea of like, let's go get lunch.
yeah. Although I have done
Like, what
that.
do the servers think? like, and I don't mean that in a bad way. They know a con's going on by that certain point, and I've had that happen where people know a convention's happening.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of just the server that doesn't know, that PAX is happening or
Yeah.
RTX, whatever, and just like, how many. And
Yeah.
it's just this like madcap of like people dressed up. It's like table for 4, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Although I will say I've only cosplayed a little bit, and anytime I've done it while also getting a meal, that shit's hard though.
That's what I'm saying.
That is impossible. I don't know why. My thing is now, like, I'm gonna eat whenever I'm out of this costume because I don't want to get it messy. I don't want to get hair in my mouth. I don't want to get all this.
That's what I'm
gunk in
saying.
My,
Like there is, like typically at RTX, there's always a contingency of guys in full Spartan armor.
Yeah.
Spartan being like the Halo characters. We've
Yeah,
seen like
yeah.
Master Chief, those sort of things. And sometimes those armors are done in a way that they're flexible and movable.
Mhm.
Sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
Depends on what style that guy decided to do. Whether he was like really skilled at cutting foam, or he was like, nah, screw that, I'm going fiberglass on this mother effer.
Yeah.
And he's got fans and everything back there to cool him.
Yeah.
I can imagine like walking around. It's totally cool, and for the cosplay, it's awesome. It's just like, well, it's time to get something to eat. Like you gotta deboard that thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like that's why I have always done when I've done cosplays to make sure it's characters that I know I can move around and do things with.
Oh yeah.
Because I'll be impressed when I see a Spartan. I'll be insanely impressed when I see a really good cosplay and everything else. And Monty Ohm rest his soul kind of thing. I'm glad that he decided to design, for a lot of characters he did it on purpose. He designed a lot of the characters knowing people would cosplay as them, so he put like pockets in the dresses and stuff like that. So they put their damn phone somewhere.
Yeah.
And like a lot of cosplayers like thank you when Monty started out like thank you so much for doing that because I can actually have a fucking place to put my phone, which is great to know that now. But like there are some like elaborate ones. I'm just like, man, how it's cool that you're in costume now.
Yeah.
But come noon, come lunchtime, like you're gonna have to go to, because because it's never the fact that you like no one at a convention is going, all right, it's time to go eat some food. Let's go to Ruth's Chris.
Yeah.
It's always at like these other like kind of sit down places, and I think in my head just like how does that's my favorite concept is just going to like the regular place and seeing these characters sit down and eat.
Yeah.
Because again, I know they're real people, but it's just the idea of like like Diva and who's on the other who's like who's on the enemy side of Overwatch. Like it's I forget the enemy, the quote unquote enemy. Because really know the story of like the not Project Overwatch, but like the other side of anti-Overwatch.
So
this is a non-Overwatch guy asking Overwatch questions.
The Black Claw, Black Raven, whatever is. Yeah, but like with like seeing a person in a Reaper costume going to
lunch with Tracer.
Yeah.
Just again, love the idea so much. It's one of my favorite things, the concept of that. Because again, that's cosplaying and it's everything else, but it's just such a weird thing of just like regular people sitting down at their Mexican restaurant because it's a Saturday and that's what they do. That's where they go get margaritas and they sit down and they just see in comes someone dressed as Yang, and it's like, well, that looks like a cute dress, and someone dresses as that looks like a really cute dress, and then someone comes in like as Velvet with bunny ears, like, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. What did I miss today?
Yeah.
Because again, if you don't know what's going on, if you're not in the know, it's confusing.
Yeah.
So I'll ask this because we're talking about cosplaying, and we seem to be going down this train of thought. What has been the most complex cosplay that you've ever done?
Few years ago, I tried to make this costume for a character from the French animated series Wakfu. It was.
I didn't realize that was French. I always thought that was Korean for some reason.
Well,
and it might have been just because I always thought that's anything that's not. That might be my weird bias of like. Yeah. If it's there, I'm like, the chances are that I didn't realize it's French. It's awesome. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but I do know of it though.
Yeah. But I tried to make a costume of the villain of the first season, Nox, and for people who don't know what this guy looks like, imagine basically a mummy-like body, like a bunch of like bandages wrapped around every part of the body.
Right.
But then like over it, like armored plated areas, very much kind of like a pseudo Iron Man-esque looking outfit. Like I remember when I first did it, some people thought it was some weird like steampunk Iron Man outfit or something that I was doing. And like that one was probably the most complex, mostly because of the actual like trying to make the suit with the bandages and all that, because like it was just a pain in the ass because I didn't have like a mannequin to help me like sew these things on. So So you're kind of just like eyeballing it or something like that. Well, no, like most of the time I had to be wearing it while trying to sew it on.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was not exactly the best thing.
How okay, here's the question I'm going to ask, and I think I already know the answer. How many times did you just like fuck?
Quite a lot.
Pinging, just pinpricking yourself with a goddamn sewing needle.
Well, no, like probably the worst of it was when I was trying to work on the hands and get like the bandages there, and I was using this stuff called fabric glue.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the thought did not cross my mind that it might stick to my hand as I'm trying to yank my arm out of this sleeve.
That happened to me in Japan. so my shoes had kind of screwed up, and I was traveling September there, and it was freaking during September, and that's during the rainy season, or a little bit tail end of tsunami season, and so I basically I had learned when it was raining, I was walking around, that there was a whole kind of a breach here, if you will.
Yeah.
That water was seeping through, and I was getting my socks wet. And eventually, and the next day, I ended up stopping by near our hotel. My friend Claudia and I went there. Near our hotel was a 7-Eleven, and I went and bought super glue, and I started super gluing my shoes. And as I'm doing it, I go, "What happens if I get some on me?" And I got some on me, and I almost was like, "Oh no." Because I know me instinctively, I would do this. I'd put it together. I'm like, I can't do that. I have to let it kind of dry. And so it was done. And Claudia came down. I go, do you have any, I asked her just, do you have any nail polish? Because I know that'll remove it. She goes, no. I go, okay. I have no idea what nail polish is going to look like. You know what nail polish would look like. Come with me. Help me figure out which one of these random Japanese products is nail polish. What looks like nail polish to you? Yeah. And she's like, that looks like nail polish. Cool. And I, quickly cleaned up my hands, these pads kind of thing. Yeah. Because I knew nail polish from that. Yeah. And it was the weirdest thing, because the longest time I had this kind of solid kind of mass on there, and I was trying to kind of grind it away. But yeah, I've had that happen where it's just I'll start gluing something, I should probably wearing gloves or something like that, just for the event that I happen to glue myself to myself kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let's avoid that kind of thing. Especially in Japan, where just I don't want to have that I gotta go to the hospital type thing. Yeah. It's not what I want to have happen.
But yeah, so that was more or less the most difficult one. And it's one of those things, though, it's also one of those things, I was an amateur trying to take on a project probably outside of my skill range.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of stuff that I had to learn the hard way that I didn't think about, such as the problem of, because the thing was, I was using one of those, body suits or Zentai suits, whatever they're called. And I just bought this one on Amazon that was, I don't know, $20 something at, some wholesale place.
Right.
And so I bought this, and there's only, a zipper in the back area. And so that's what I used to get in and get out. But then, come con time, I realized, oh, shit, I didn't set up anything for if I need to use the restroom. This is bad.
Hold on a second. Rewind. So you get yourself in this suit, yeah, I am ready to... What if I have to use the bathroom?
Yeah.
I'm not laughing at you.
Again, this is why I was an amateur and not a seasoned vet actually trying to make a project like this. Because, it was one of those things, it was pretty popular. A lot of people thought it was kind of cool what I made, but it was one of those things, I wore it maybe twice, and then it pretty much is not usable again because it just got so mangled up.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think my most complete cosplay... And this was, I'd like to say this was either the last kind of done the way it was done that year, Ushicon. Yeah. And it was my first one. But I had cosplayed, and this was back when that anime really wasn't that popular, to be honest. I had cosplayed as what did I cosplay as? I cosplayed as Nabashin from Excel Saga.
Oh, yeah. Big giant afro,
right?
Lupin
afro,
third shirt,
red
outfit.
shirt, yellow tie. Cause I had a blue button-up shirt. I just bought a yellow tie. I bought the cheapest polyester, red jacket kind of thing, jeans, and put on my nice shoes. And that what's funny is I met at that day he was walking around Brett Weaver, the dub voice actor, the U.S. side of things. It was kind of crazy. It's holy shit. But that was the most complete cosplay I had done. And I've never figured out to cosplay again because I never kind of I never found that character to do that again with because it was such a fun thing to do. Nabashin, that was just because I know me that I'm gonna do characters I either relate to or I think are just hyper ridiculous or things I'm not gonna do your typical kind of let me do a video game thing. Let me do that, not because I don't care to. It's just never my thing, and stuff like that. let's see. My friend Claudia says in the chat room, she met a Playboy bunny Harley at Anime Comic Con. Is it Austin Comic Con convention? She was literally sewn into her costume.
Ooh.
Well, because Harley Quinn's another one there.
Yeah.
You know. But for me, the most complete was definitely Nabashin. It was fun. I always, because it was cool. The cool thing about it is I've done the cosplays that I know only a handful of people are gonna get.
Yeah.
Because to me, you know, that's always been the coolest one. Like I remember a couple of years back. I don't remember what event I did this for, but I had cosplayed as Ness, but not typical Ness. Like I had cosplayed as. So in Smash, they have the ultimate costumes.
Yeah.
People typically call him Goth Ness, I guess, where it's basically Ness in a black shirt with Mr. Saturn logo, purple shirts, whatever. But I always liked the Mr. Saturn logo, so I ended up making my own version of that. And when I wore it, someone's like, "You're Ness, but you're alternate costume Ness."
Yeah.
I go, yeah, totally, I am. You know, I was like, awesome, because it was a cool. I felt like that was a deeper cut than just simply Ness.
Yeah.
And that's sort of been my thing is that, you know, because like no one, for example, cosplays as Pikachu with the birthday hat.
Yeah.
They should, because that's the ultimate Pikachu is birthday hat Pikachu.
Well,
that was all you wizard hat ones. I'm kidding.
That's similar to like my own personal philosophy for whenever I would go and do cosplay, because it is one of those things like when I do go to cons, and this is my own personal bias, it does kind of irk me when there is just tons and tons of cosplay of like one particular thing. And, you know, it's that whole thing. I can't shame them. They're here to have fun. They're doing their
totally.
stuff. But it's like the whole thing of like how last year the joke was everyone was going as Harley Quinn for Halloween.
Right, or everyone does a Deadpool.
Yeah.
And that kind of, you know, and that's a very common convention thing where it's the gathering of the Deadpools.
Yeah, and so for me at least, like my personal like take if I do cosplay is that I want to be like something that would stand out. Yeah. Something I like, but also something you wouldn't see that
I'm the same
often.
way too. In that, you know, I am definitely appreciative when I see it. Like there was a couple years ago, I think it was actually at either not DreamHack, it was at definitely at South by Gaming.
Yeah.
There was a group of people that one person dressed up as Ness, another one dressed up as Paula, another one dressed up as Pooh. Yeah. I was like, cool, where's Jeff? You know, the joke, and it's like, you know, Jeff's, you know, like, oh, we kind of lost him, we're still looking for him, so they got the gag. Yeah. I was like, that's cool. Like, again, that's a cool concept. I've always wanted, like, there's been a cosplay I've wanted to do for the longest time. Yeah. But I've never found 4 friends that have played the game to do it for. There's this game, indie game called, I guess it's the letter V 6 times, or V.
Oh, yeah.
I've always wanted to cosplay as the entire team of the ship. You know, I've always wanted to be like Captain, is it, I think Vermilion, I think it is, or that's the color he is, and have everyone be their other respective colors. Yeah. And like completely in that like weird 2D kind of thing. Like I've always wanted to do that, but I've never found like 4 other friends who are just like, have you played this game? What game are you talking about? Here, play it. Oh, this is too hard. Okay. Yeah. All right, next guy. You played this game because it seems like a fun concept. Just like I've always wanted to have. Oh yeah. Have like a squad of people doing cosplay and do that because again, people who aren't in the know is like, what the fuck are they cosplaying as? Yeah. And people who are in the know like, holy shit, someone's cosplaying as the entire team from BBBBB. Yeah. And just like at you know Terry Kavanaugh, look at this, you know, that kind of thing because it's just such a you know. Because now we're starting to see people do that with Persona because Persona, you know, is a popular game. Oh, yeah. Or we see that with, like I said, Earthbound earlier. Or, because I think this E3, there's a lot of Persona people cosplaying.
Probably so. And I mean, that does tend to be the thing, like, whenever something big comes out, there's going to be tons of people. And I do at least like it when it is, like, people putting their own spin on it or doing something different. Like, for me, like, the problem I was just having is, like, the people that buy those like the complete already made costume, like again the Deadpool thing, and particularly the Deadpool ones when they think it gives them license to act like a jackass.
An entire that's you know we're gonna end on talking about that topic. Yeah, like we're almost out of time here for the hour mark.
Oh damn, really already?
Yeah, that's welcome to 8-Bit Life. This is how 8-Bit Life goes, people. That's the mission. I've won. That is something that I have also started to hate, is that people feel like depending on their costume that gives them the right to be their respective character.
Oh yeah.
And I don't and the thing is that there's times when it's funny.
Yeah.
Or appropriately funny.
Like, do it for a photo op. Don't do it just because you're running around on the con floor.
Right, because, again, do it for a photo op. If do it for somebody that's like, Joker! And and they do the laugh or whatever, or that kind of thing. Like, that's funny. That's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. If you want to screw with somebody, go to a booth where the booth is like, how's it going, Batman? And then you can have fun with that. If the booth acknowledges you or you're there, buying a soda, and even if it's the clerk that's like, do you have your back, like whatever it is, like, play along with that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's not just, it's also a matter, as I've been seeing a lot more with like photos from cons going about.
Yeah.
It's not just the cosplay people, it's also the people, it's like, God damn it, people, you are there at a hotel. Show some goddamn respect to the place.
That's what I'm saying. That's an entirely different thing, convention that, like, I remember.
I don't know if you happen to see this one photo set of one con, but apparently in one of the hotel rooms, they decided to fill up the entire tub with syrup. Maple syrup, to be exact, because they were apparently making a bunch of pancakes or some dumb shit like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and then like prior to that, like at a place called a con called Katsucon, and this was either last year or the year before, of like someone punched a hole in the wall, or maybe they just damaged a big hole in the wall and decided it'd be funny to leave a note that said One Punch Man was here, or like knocking down the exit signs. It's like, goddamn, people, do you realize that people gotta still work at this building? This isn't your personal playground.
No, not even the slightest. Like, there's always a statement. Like a couple of years ago, we're at RTX, and they've now branched out. And as I say, this is approaching this year's RTX coming up soon. They branched out different hotel rooms. They've taken different hotels up. That, and a lot of the RTX TV was like, make way for people to walk, because there are people fucking at these hotels that have nothing to do with our convention, which is totally cool. Their hotels are businesses. They we're here and we're giving them business, but like, we're not the only ones here, that kind of thing. But don't be that kind of dick. Not even in 8 different ways, because that's if you're gonna break, if something shit goes down. Do not get me wrong. You get drunk, shit goes down, and that accidents will happen. Some debaucheries happen. I'm not gonna say that anime people are innocent of that.
Yeah, it's just general con atmosphere itself.
Right, it's gonna happen. That's fine. But if you do it, it's like, if you punch a hole, it's like, all right, cool, report that in. Yeah. Or put your tweet, like, maybe include in your tweet or a follow up, or include in there saying like, this is a joke, but I immediately contacted the appropriate people and paid whatever damage they need to pay.
Take responsibility for your actions.
That kind of thing. To maybe avoid the syrup and the.
Yeah.
How do you even begin to clean that up? Let's talk about that.
And that's the thing that offends me more, because I worked for a few years as a janitor before, so it's one of
how
those
do you
things
even
like,
get that much syrup? Let's go with that. Like we talking, when he filled it up, we talking like someone could go in, like, submerge themselves?
Maybe not that much, but I would assume, at least from the looks of it, it probably was at least a good couple of gallons of syrup.
Diana says in the chat room, that's why we can't have nice things anymore.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, maybe not the pancake thing. I mean, again, I get it. It's funny. Haha, pancake syrup and that. We need a lot of syrup, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, after a certain point, it's like,
Although I wouldn't be surprised if at the point when they decided to dump syrup in there, it might have been after large consumption of either legal or illegal substances.
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
It always is. It's never, it's no
At least I would hope for
no, that. Like, okay. Hopefully no sane person would do that sober.
Yeah.
Again, we're in a very weird, I keep saying weird because it is weird to me, in this weird culture where, because YouTube is a thing, and because video evidence of stuff is cool, or video concepts of the prank or this or whatever. Even though these all existed prior to it, it's just now we have video, we can share it with the world. That people are more inclined to do stupid stuff like that, where they will it's like, I'm gonna fill this tub with mayonnaise and that's gonna be cool, and not think someone's got to clean that.
Yeah,
I may have to clean that because they'll do it day one.
Yeah,
and then day two will happen, and there'll be that smell.
Yeah,
that and that syrupy smell that smells like it's just this
something sticky.
Something
it
sticky.
just smells sticky.
It smells sticky, and you better hope to God that you're not on like a ground floor.
Yeah,
like you better be on like the 20th floor where there's very little chance of ants.
Yeah,
because that's all it's gonna take.
This is how we get ants.
Yes, this is how you get ants. Quite literally, how you get ants, because that's like a sugar source. It's just like that's a beacon for them just to come out.
Yeah,
and two, the worst part, even if it's day one, there's still someone that come in like room service.
Yeah.
And they come in and they're like cleaning, vacuuming, and they get to the tub and they're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And they're looking at this tub with what appears to be syrup.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is not to say that there haven't been other crazy things go down. Whether it be rock stars or bachelor parties or whatever, all this is in that kind of same, sphere. But, like, we as anime fans are supposed to be a little bit more. Dana says, how do they get the syrup? Raid the hotel breakfast pantry? Rob and IHOP get 1 billion syrup. That's another question, too. Because, again, all of these things, to even get, let's just say like a puddle of syrup.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're going to be like, let's put this little packet of syrup. Let's put this one bottle. Like, no, that's not the effect. That doesn't do anything for the picture. You got to at least put at least there's got to be the entire tub, like a little bit of raising. That takes planning and concept and some sort of forethought. Even if it's like a drunken forethought, you still have to go to somewhere. It's like, how many bottles of Happy Jack, Man Jemimas?
I bet. Well, I wouldn't be
Maybe
surprised.
you're probably in country fair at that point if you're gonna do that kind of gag.
Well, no. If anything, they're probably raiding the dollar store. Because I have seen stuff online before of those life hack video type things on how to life hack things while at a con for food and whatnot, and it was just weird stuff like, oh, hey, you can use that ironing board in there as a way to help make a grilled cheese sandwich or something, or hey, use the hot water coffee machine to heat up some ramen
I'm going to
noodles.
say this as my life hack when it comes to this. This is the last thing I say about conventions, people. Budget accordingly.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about this. Budget accordingly. Figure out how much it's going to cost for a hotel, how much food's going to cost. Give yourself a generous amount of money and budget accordingly, meaning $30 per meal. Not because you're going to spend $30 a meal, but because you might need $30 a meal. You might go someplace where they're just like, fuck, and you know that. But even then, there's still places to hunt around. Look around, hunt around, do stuff.
Or just generally, anytime I've gone to cons, I just bring a cooler with some deli meat and some bread.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Whatnot.
For a while, there's a company here in Austin called Epic that makes these kind of meat protein bars that are really tasty kind of thing. Yeah. And those can do it, breakfast bar kind of stuff, whatever. But plan, and that is, but and again, if you're coming from out of town and you have a hotel room, if you put all the things that you paid for to get to the convention, if you're in town, doesn't matter. You're in town. You know where to get the cheap stuff, whatever. Yeah. If you're coming from out of town and you're crashing at a hotel, even a Motel 6, you're still paying for that Motel 6. Yeah. You still have, you budgeted accordingly to get there. Even if you're splitting with a friend. Even if it's simply staying in a place that has continental breakfast or includes breakfast type thing. Like when we went to when I traveled, whenever I travel type thing, I always have certain requirements. It's the idea of make sure A, I have a place to stay. B, I can get there if it's remote, meaning flight ticket back. And C, I have money for food. After all those have been assigned, I am good to go. Yeah. Because everything else is cool, well, this budget goes to travel and other things like that, and that becomes, different things. But those are the three essentials, and that goes for conventions as well. Because, again, I don't want to come to a position where I'm and it does require a little bit of self-control. You know, it does require going and saying like, well, maybe I won't get that. You know, that copy of One Punch Man. Maybe I won't buy issue 1 of whatever manga series you're into. You know, maybe I'll avoid that if it's like too expensive. Again, which is not the case. I hope not. Yeah. But you get the idea. You know, and it's just like you don't need to have the life hack of like making a grilled cheese. I mean, again, I get it, totally cool. Yeah. But and not to say that food's expensive, but it's just like you don't need to. You know, if you do it right and treat it like a 3-day vacation. Yeah. You don't need to life hack. Ironing board grilled cheese sandwich. Yeah, that's you know. Now, you're again. That's not to say that it's that doesn't mean that that, or else you'll end up with a cardboard sign that says "Glomps for money."
Yeah. Oh God.
That's another thing. All right, people, we are done with the show. We'll go into the after show after this. Joe, always a goddamn pleasure to have you on the show. Even though we talked about anime and cosplay, which I wasn't sure what we were going to talk about. Where can people find you online? Because you're trying to do a lot more content these days on your own.
Yeah, I still got my Tumblr page, and I started to use Twitter a little bit more. I'm still very bad at it because there's just so much going on that alone where it's like, it's just that thing of like, God damn, it's hard to keep up with so much social media today.
You have to. I'll give you some strategy off the air, but it becomes part of the second job of things. Yeah. Because for you, because you're an artist, or at least trying to get more in animation, that it becomes just like, well, I got to promote my stuff. I got to put it out there because again, that anyway. Sorry, continue. But people, you being an artist, you being all this stuff. Where else is it? Tumblr, which is
it's infinityjoe.tumblr.com. Okay. I'm now using Twitter at the infinity _ Joe.
Okay.
And then like I've recently been trying to tool around with Pictaro TV, that one as well, Infinity Joe, and
right. That's more where a lot of the animation or artist people go to do their live streams.
Yeah, like it's kind of an alternative to Twitch. Like I don't know what's the big difference between Twitch and this one,
but the community is. That's all.
Yeah, it just seems like this is the one that all the artists I follow use.
Then that's the place to go. Totally. Yeah. Of course, you can find me. I'm at Vincent404 there in the chat rooms and the Twitters and everything else in between. If you want to catch previous episodes of this podcast, you can go to our website, CosmicRadio.TV /8BitLife. There are find links to show notes, the Twitter page for the show, which is at 8BitLife Podcast. And of course, if you happen to be free on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central, we are live streaming to YouTube, Twitch, youtube.com /CosmicRadio.TV, twitch.tv /CosmicRadio.TV, and now on Facebook. I think it's facebook.com /8BitLife podcast. I think it's not, that's 8BitLife, but you watch it there. You guys hit that like button, that one. And of course, if you happen to have some free monies in your pocket, like you look in your pocket, you say, hey, I got $1.50 I can spare, head over to patreon.com /8BitLife and help the show become bigger, better, and more awesomer. So that is it for today. So till next time, talk to another people completely and utterly random. Bye, people.